one thing that's been quite interesting is seeing conservatives also exhibiting the same anger that you normally would hear from leftists online, right? Like the reception of this story has been quite interesting. Americans from all different walks of life, from all different kinds of backgrounds, different political ideologies that have all been fucked over directly by the privatized for-profit healthcare structure in this country, also carry the same resentment that the shooter had. And that's precisely the reason why, while right-wingers and mainstream media, both liberals and conservative alike, are trying to maintain this civility aesthetic to say, people are celebrating this, like this is crazy. Normal conservatives, on the other hand, are like, of course people are celebrating this. What the fuck are you talking about? Look, people are naturally going to celebrate. This is on r/conservative. This man's death is an allegory for the failure of privatized healthcare as a whole. We can all relate. Prescriptions we can't afford. People we know who have been turned down. Healthcare or treatment due to insurance reasons. I'm a Republican and I'm not going to defend the failure of privatized healthcare. It's an absolute tragedy that people who don't have access to healthcare. I know that sounds like a lib talking point, but this is America. Healthcare should be just as great as the rest of our country. Complicit for over 7 million deaths. 1/3 claim denial rate. UHC being investigated for using algorithms that automatically deny claims. UHC has some of the highest healthcare premiums and costs. All the while, he was a CEO and making over $10 million a year. Also, he was being investigated for fraud, money laundering. This man did not have clean hands. I'm not justifying murder, just stating facts. And in America, healthcare costs are still higher than many countries around the world while providing subpar service compared to said countries. This act of violence, okay, in and of itself, is ripping through the social fabric, right? Because this is vigilante justice, all right? And that's in almost every single circumstance. I wouldn't say unacceptable in every single circumstance, but like that is something that should not exist in a healthy society. But we are not living in a healthy society. And the very fact that people are also celebrating this vigilante justice means that there is like very deep-seated and valid resentment that people feel towards these institutions, understandably. That's it. That's it. And it's kind of crazy because, like, this is unique for the conservatives. And the reason why it's unique for the conservatives is because conservatives love vigilante justice. Their own version of vigilante justice is oftentimes directed at appropriate targets, those without any power whatsoever. Conservatives have celebrated Kyle Rittenhouse. Conservatives have celebrated that old guy that looks like Santa Claus that killed those climate protesters that were blocking traffic. Conservatives celebrated Daniel Perry, who killed in broad daylight in a crowded subway car a black homeless person who was exhibiting a mental health episode. He choked him to death. Conservatives celebrated Daniel Penny. Did I say Perry? Sorry. Daniel Penny, and still do. So this is unique for a lot of conservatives, I would say. Because normally, this is a person in a position of power. This is a person that is at the top of a reputable institution. Healthcare is important. Normally, you don't hear this kind of sentiment being expressed by conservatives, except as right-wingers try to polarize the subject and hit it from the angles that they're used to try to get their fan base to agree with them, to see this in the way that they see it. Right-wing commentators and mainstream media are failing to get people to be upset at the shooter. Because I think their personal experience with healthcare is so bad that they are aware of the inconsistency with what a wealthy political commentator like Ben Shapiro is saying. This video, by the way, apparently is sitting at 21,000 dislikes. And how they personally feel. I work in a factory in a deep red state. My coworkers all voted for Trump and wear his merch. They were laughing at this incident. It's not just the left. Ben, you're a millionaire. You're on a true blue-collar conservative. You're a rich guy that tries to appeal to working-class Republicans. You don't understand what poor people go through. Why do you pick on the left? This is bipartisan. You're out of touch. Ben, this issue is like a 99% versus the 1%. Your audience is more likely working-class conservatives. We get denied health insurance claims and get screwed because we aren't rich like you. Remind me when you said we don't need to retire at 65. I'm glad the comments are giving Ben a reality check. Ben Shapiro is the CEO of his own company, so it makes sense he might see a little of himself as the victim. It ain't just the left. Ben tried to do this as a shocking targeted attack, and the left celebrates. As an independent content creator on the right, obviously, his job is to get people in his audience to say, killing a CEO is inappropriate. Of course. The norms, the civility. You can't kill a person in a position of power. Are you kidding me? The fuck? That's not allowed. Right? And I'm not even saying that you can do that. Okay? I'm not saying that at all. Because I am a humanist. Okay? I don't believe in the death penalty. Ben Shapiro does. I don't. I don't believe in capital punishment. My solutions are, in my opinion, a lot better than whatever the fuck these guys are saying. I personally am a firm and committed believer in universal health care. If we had universal health care, this kind of resentment would not exist. It's the same principle behind Me Too. Me Too movement was a movement that absolutely swung in the direction of justice, vigilante justice, because the institutions were not doing anything about mass harassment, sexual assaults in the workplace, right? And then, as vigilante movements, as is the case with most vigilante movements, it went far. It went too far, and then the pendulum swung back, right? And it's really interesting that Ben, Tim Pool, Matt Walsh have all tried to... Oh, it's at 8.5K dislikes. Sorry, it's not at 19K. Thank you, Little Bear, for showing me how many dislikes it is. The dislikes are still outweighing the likes on the video. But they are trying to spin it. Okay? They are trying to spin it as hard as they can. They're trying to spin it as aggressively as they can. Matt Walsh's initial reaction was, oh, it's because they killed a white guy. And the left is celebrating it because it's a white guy. Yeah, here it is. The left is outright praising the first-degree murder of a health insurance CEO because he's a white male. If he was the CEO of the same company was a black woman, you would not be seeing any of the gloating and celebration. I hope everyone understands this basic point. There are two videos, dog. One has 20K dislikes. The other one, oh, wait, it does. The evil revolutionary left cheers murder. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. He made two videos on this. It is at 21,000 dislikes. Wow. So Matt Walsh immediately went in, and I noticed this because that other federal agent, what's his face? The Navy intelligence, former Navy intelligence guy, Jack Posobiec, was like, huh, this guy's not a real hitman, right? Like, they were trying to find a way to still criticize the person that shot the CEO, but like, do it in a way where they could rally their own base. But their own base was like, no, we like this. We like this a lot. And all this does is make them look like they are out of touch charlatans that are directly trying to make divisive commentary on this matter. The left is outright praising the first-degree murder of a health insurance CEO because he's a white male. If he was the CEO of the same company, but it was a black woman, blah, blah, blah. Most people were like, no. Yeah, this is the replies to Brian, the CEO. Okay? Brian Thompson, the CEO's LinkedIn post from a year ago. Brian Thompson, this seems like a laudable mission, but United Healthcare Group is failing my mother by not providing her basic care to get better and get back to her life. I think a lot of people realize that there is no right-wing identitarian politics in a moment like this, because it's such a clear-cut example of, right and wrong. I saw this. Yeah, I just realized that your entire business model requires us normal folk hate each other. I would say that healthcare is one of the most important issues in this country, one of the most glaringly obvious historic wrongs in this country that continues. And that is precisely the reason why even on fucking LinkedIn, you got other CEOs being like, yo, you suck, dog. You are doing a great job cutting your costs. Not having a single anesthesiologist and network in the entire state of Montana is a great policy to save you money. I'm telling you, man, healthcare and home ownership, like healthcare and housing prices, are the two key things that everyone gets fucked over by. Every single person. If a party was tackling that, they would be running the table permanently. They would have a permanent democratic popular regime. They would have a popular broad mandate. Education is very bad too, but I'm saying, like, in terms of like the top priorities, I think it's healthcare and housing. People are very, very, very angry, understandably, about the situation that is unfolding, about their own material realities. And these guys have gone on for far too long, very clearly cutting across that class consciousness by saying, don't worry about that. Don't worry about healthcare. Look at how these libtards, they hate white men. They hate you because you're white. All they do is they care about trans people. That's all they care about. And I think this kind of divisive narrative does not work in a situation where, like I said, it's a glaringly obvious problem with very real resentment. This proves you right on the take of the Walton family being persecuted and the egg prices going down. Yeah. Remember on Pod Save America, I said, if Kamala Harris came out and said, I am going to arrest the Walton family, and that is how we're going to claw back these egg prices, Americans would be 100% on board. Okay? She doesn't need to go that far. But you have to understand, like people don't care what the solutions are as long as there is a solution to those problems. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's clear. If someone was like, I'm going to arrest every healthcare CEO and we are going to institute some kind of like normal, good healthcare that every other country has, every other comparable nation state has on this planet, people will be like, yeah, no, that's it. That's my shit. I love that. That's assuming the median American knows who the Waltons are. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're misunderstanding the point. I'm using the most extreme example I can use, something that like the Democratic Party is never going to do, but I'm using the most extreme example, something that normally Americans should be fearful of because of a century of Red Scare propaganda. And even then, I think they would still be on board. They would be like, okay, no, I see it. This is not the like solution, okay? I'm not saying that the solution is like going out and instituting vigilante justice against like random CEOs. The solution is legislative change. But I think that there can't be this much pressure without a pressure valve, okay? You cannot have this much pressure building up, this much resentment building up, and consistently move people's attention away from the real vectors of pressure, real vectors of resentment. And this is a moment where very clearly someone did take vigilante action, right? And people were like, yeah, I don't care about this. This person has like killed my grandmother. I don't give a shit. You cannot hurt tens of millions of Americans in this systematized form of violence, in the words of Engels, this social murder, okay? And then expect people to also lap it up and care about the institutions. This is the same thing that I talked about with Donald Trump winning the election now twice. In 2016, he won because people were like, I'm angry at these institutions. Fuck the establishment. I don't give a shit. Let's blow it up. And that's precisely what happened again. This time around, it happened once more, and people just don't understand it. Donald Trump's like, yeah, we're going to fix your housing prices. How am I going to do that? By deporting 20 million immigrants. I'm going to fix the egg prices. How? Deporting 20 million immigrants. It doesn't even have to make sense for a lot of people. They're just like, okay, I trust this guy. He sees the anger that I feel, and that's his solution. I'm willing to, take a bet. Every post on r/conservative is basically saying open corruption from leadership, unaffordable healthcare, wars and revolutions breaking out worldwide. We really might be hitting a critical point in history. Double the industry standard on claims denials. Eat the rich will start somewhere. Frankly, it's inevitable. You got Republicans talking about eat the rich, man. That's crazy. The entire Republican ideology revolves around defending the rich. And it's failing. It's because all of the divisive ways in which people have been sedated into,
folks, the reason we can
not recognizing who the real villains in society are failing as well. Okay? Where is it? Where is the other video that people were responding to? Did he delete it? Scroll up, second row. Oh, the evil revolutionary left cheers murder.
Updates in the search.
Yeah. L-Take, I'm glad the comment section noticed. The CEO is actually a criminal. I just realized your entire business model requires us normal folk to hate each other. I don't know why you're trying to keep pushing this as a left issue. It's across the board. Yep. That's it. It's not working. It's not working for the right, the populist right, the so-called populism of the right. It's only the populist right-wing sentiment is only effective if there's no motion on the left. This is why I say if the Democratic Party actually got their fucking shit straight and were truly fighting to fix some of these problems that Americans are facing, the Republicans would not be able to effectively cut out this anti-trans shit, this anti-immigrant shit. It just wouldn't work because everyone would be like, okay, well, this guy wants to fucking make my healthcare free. I don't give a fuck. I don't care about trans people. I don't care. Yeah, they're weird. They're gross. Who gives a shit? Is the normal attitude that most right-wingers have. They're like, yeah, okay. Is that gonna put more money in my pocket? Is that gonna put food on my table if every single trans person is no longer allowed to compete? All 40 trans people in the entire fucking state, in the entire United States of America won't be able to compete in fucking high school swim meets? Is that gonna give you more money? Is that gonna make healthcare affordable? No.